Networking. It's a very important part of what we do. In fact, you do it all the time. When you go to work and meet people that you get acquainted with, when you go to a mixer and start exchanging numbers, even when you play online and friend people for a group project like a raid, you do it all the time. That's networking, and that's what we're talking about today. Before we go any further, hit that like, subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so you get updated when I have new videos, and let's get right into it. So as I mentioned earlier, networking, you do it all the time. But then the question becomes, how does it apply to voiceover work? Simple. You meet or you work with someone, and then next thing you know, you start exchanging contact information, whether that be a phone number, social media, Instagram, email, beeper number, smoke signal sign, you name it. That's how you get the ball rolling for building a network. Now, what are some of the things that actually prompt people to want to exchange this kind of information? One thing is when they see somebody who's proficiently good at something, and in this case, voiceover. Another way is that somebody sees, let's say, you, and then they decide to exchange contact information with you because they think that you might fit something that they're doing. Classes. If you take voice acting classes, part of a theater group or what have you, these are also places that people exchange information so that they can get in contact with one another. I've done so on a bunch of occasions. Public event mixers for voice actors. That's another place that is literally set up so that people can do exactly that. Exchange information and network with other people just like them. Those are some examples of how to start networking with people. Now, what is the point of networking with people? One, you're building a reputation within the industry that you're working in. So the more people you network with and the more people that get a chance to see your skills in action at their best, the more your reputation starts to build within that industry. And the next thing you know, you go from not being seen at all to being seen. It's like that saying that goes, if a tree falls in the forest but nobody is around there to witness it, did it fall? In reality, it did fall, but nobody was around to see it, so it might as well have not fallen. The same thing applies for when you make really good strides in your career. If nobody saw it, then it might as well not have happened. Which is why having a good network of people who know who you are and have seen your work tends to cause ripple effects that go throughout your network. When, say, one person sees it, that's also part of your network. Or it goes throughout their network like, hey, I saw this guy, he just put on a great performance on the mic, and I think he'd be worth looking up or recruiting for something. Having a network also allows you to broadcast what your wins are to other people within the industry that you are in who probably have more reach than you do. Which means if they like what they see and it meets something that they're looking to fill, then chances are they're gonna go for you. That's the benefits of networking. Now, here's something really important to keep in mind. Everyone in an industry, they got networks, okay? I guarantee you this is nothing new. It's just a basic breakdown of what to look at. So while good things can go over the network, so can bad things. While good reputations can be established throughout a network, so can bad ones. Literally take everything I just said about a network, and instead of it being good, turn it over and see what it looks like bad. You'll get the exact same effect, except you get a bad reputation instead of a good one. So for instance, if you end up going off on somebody in the middle of a project and it's broadcasted to your entire network, which it will be because it'll go from network to network that other people have already established, that's a great way to get yourself a bad reputation and start reducing the amount of work and socialization people have with you. And depending on how bad it is, people could just straight up cut ties with you, or you could get blacklisted. Now, all of those same principles also apply to how you work your network. So if you meet somebody who has some solid work, and then you decide, you know what, I'm sharing his work, let me tell other people about it, okay, because I think it's good. You're giving too. Then the same effect can happen to the person that you're representing. Also too, because you're representing someone, you want to make sure you're representing solid people, because if they screw up, then it looks bad on you. People that you meet who have a bad reputation or establish a bad reputation, it works the same way, only this time you're in control of whether or not you want to be with this kind of person or be associated with this kind of person. So for instance, if you're trying to be careful to avoid bad apples and keep good people around your network and your space because you are judged by the company that you keep, then you want to check before associating with people. Like for instance, I've added people to my network because I like what they're doing. They have great personalities that I get along with, and they help me and I help them. And after seeing how hard a lot of them work and how proficient they are in what they do, I'm happy to associate with them and help them however I can. And I've cut out people from my network, probably listening to this right now, okay? I cut them out because they were lying consistently and showed a lack of work ethic. That's usually the main reasons why I would stop associating with someone. And I promise you, I do not apologize. If you happen to associate or friend someone that isn't who they say they were and you found that out later, that's okay. Just deal with it when it shows up. It's usually not your fault you didn't know who they were until they showed who they were, okay? But it is within your control whether or not you want to hang with that person and keep associating with them or not. If you're in a confined workspace to a degree, but you still have enough control to at least keep distance. You want to be able to filter your network, or more specifically who you associate with, based off of, honestly, ethics. And at the same time, because you care about them, you don't want to conduct yourself unethically. Speaking of which, when building a network, you don't just want to associate with people because they're going to give you something. You want to build an association with people based off of mutual understanding and mutual commonality. You're helping them, they're helping you. Teamwork makes the dream work. So when you network with people, show a genuine interest, okay? You're interested in them as a person, not as an object. Be friendly to them, be honest with them, treat them how you want to be treated, and then set boundaries as well, and then uphold those boundaries. And if you need to let people know these are my boundaries, don't cross them, do so. Don't be afraid of what they're going to do to you at all. As long as you're in the right, you're fine. I've done the same thing. I've met people who either wanted to disrespect my boundaries and me as a person, and I let them go. Like, I don't give a f. And neither should you when you establish boundaries. Why should you not give a f when you establish and enforce your boundaries that people are trying to encroach on? Because you're worth it. And if the other people trying to roll up on you and disrespect your boundaries need a reminder, you let them know. At the same time, you respect other people's boundaries that they have placed as well. If someone says back off, back off. See how all of these things for networking don't just apply to you as an individual, but to everyone else involved? So if you're going to start a network with people, then be real with them. Don't just get associated with them because of what they can give you. Be associated with them and be ready to give as well as receive. And then keep your nose clean and respect other people's boundaries and you should be fine. That covers some basics of networking. If you like this video, feel free to share it with other people who are just starting off. Like, subscribe, that helps me as well. And I'll see you around.